Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing.
Hi everyone, I'm David Aragona, and this is the January 11th edition of Horses to Watch, where we carefully analyze trips from the last week, looking for horses that encountered adversity in their trips and could be worth betting back in the future. This week, I'm looking back at 3 races from last week at Aqueduct, and actually all of them are maiden races for 3-year-olds, so some lightly raced horses, including a pair of first-time starters that I think could do better in their subsequent starts. One maiden claiming race in the mix as well. All of these 3 replays are pulled from Friday and Saturday last week at Aqueduct, and there was plenty of rain in the New York area, so we were dealing with wet tracks on both days, a sloppy track on Friday, January 6th, and a good and sealed racetrack on Saturday. Let's begin with the first race from that Friday, January 6th card. This was a maiden special weight event for 3-year-old colts and geldings going 6 furlongs on that sloppy main track. Let's break these runners from the gate, and we're going to focus on the number 2 Register. This is a horse that you can see breaks pretty well. He's in those green silks right in the middle there, but you can see about 16th of a mile into the race, right there, he gets steadied back between horses. His rider kind of bails on trying to hold that position in the first phalanx of runners, and he winds up in the pocket behind this quartet of early leaders. And you can see his rider, Jorge Vargas, has a lot of horse underneath him. He's kind of got a big handful of this horse's mane right there, trying to restrain him from running up on those horses' heels. And you can see this horse is just a little bit keen and rank in behind runners. He's going to back off right here. And you can see as he starts to separate himself from this first pack of runners, he starts to come under a little bit of ride, responds to that pressure as they come to the quarter pole, but he's going to end up almost running right into the back of the number 3 right here. And you can see he throws his head up in the air, kind of just a little bit unprofessional, not angling around that horse, having to be steered around that horse, as his instinct was kind of run into the back of that horse as they come to the quarter pole. Finally gets to the outside in the clear here. And after that eventful first half a mile of this race, you might expect a first-time starter to come up empty when he's really asked for his best in the stretch, but he actually continues to find more as they come onto the wire. He gamely runs past these 2 rivals in front of him to get up for second as they come onto the wire of this race. The winner was a pretty well-meant Chad Brown trained runner who was also making his career debut here, but I think that this David Donk trainee, Register, ran very well, arguably just as well as the winner of this race to get up for second. He's bred to get added ground, which I think is important to note. He's by Super Saver. On the dam side, he's a half-brother to High Oak, who was a horse that was bred to go longer. He never really got to do it. He was the Grade 2 Saratoga Special winner when he was a 2-year-old. But on the deeper side of the female family, this dam side has produced Golden It Is, a Grade 3 winner on the dirt routing, Shared Account, who was a Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf winner who wanted to go marathon distances. So there's definitely some stamina breeding on the bottom side of this pedigree. And I think that Register showed enough potential on debut that you can expect better from him in his second start. Let's move on to another race from that Friday, January 6th card at Aqueduct. This was race 6. It's a New York bred maiden claiming $40,000 event going 6.5 furlongs for the 3-year-olds. Let's break these runners from the gate. We're going to focus on the number 5 East Coast Girl. And you can see that this horse breaks slowly, about a length behind the field, has to get steadied right after that. But this is a horse who showed a lot of speed on debut. And you can see his rider, Jose Gomez, is trying to quickly make up for that tardy beginning by trying to get this horse back into forward position, but he's exerting a lot of energy on the backstretch, quickly passing horses on the outside. I should note I'm calling this horse a he, and that is correct. Kind of an odd name for a colt, East Coast Girl, but that's what the connections chose. And you can see as they come on to the far turn here, this horse is now 4 wide, making that early backstretch move to now contest the pace. It's a lot of energy that this horse had to exert on the backstretch to go from last all the way up to contesting the lead by the time they're rounding the far turn here. And it briefly looks like he might actually get the job done here, ranging up on the outside of these 2 leaders. But as they come into the stretch, you'll notice that all the hard work this horse did in the opening half of this race ends up taking its toll, and he's never really able to get past these 2 leaders. Briefly sticks his nose in front here, but he's going to get pretty tired as they come through the final 3/16 of a mile of this race. This is a horse that did finish far back against Maiden Specialweight Company on debut, but did not run nearly as bad as it seems that day because he had shown some speed, and his rider, Jose Ortiz, who was on him that day, just kind of gave up halfway through the race, stopped riding this horse, horse just eased him to the wire as he finished far back. Jose Gomez, the rider switch that took place ahead of this race, he gives this horse a much more energetic ride, as you can see. But unfortunately, East Coast Girl, unlike in his debut, broke slowly. If he can put everything together in his next start, responding well to the rider's cues and breaking better out of the starting gate, I think this is a horse that is ready to break his maiden at this level. Just needs to figure out that start for his third career outing. Let's move on to a race from Saturday, the final race I'll talk about on this episode of Horses to Watch. January 7th, this was race 6. It's a maiden special weight going 6 furlongs for the 3-year-old fillies over the good sealed racetrack at Aqueduct. Let's break these runners from the starting gate, and we're going to focus on the number 2, Fabulously Funny, who is a first-time starter in this race. That is her in those purple and lavender silks right in the middle there. You could see she broke maybe a length behind the leaders, but in that shadow roll, she's going to quickly advance on the inside of runners, and actually briefly looks like she's going to go up and contest the pace here, and she might have done so if she had a clear path on the inside. But you can see she's got 3 to 4 speed rivals ahead of her who are kind of converging down towards the inside, and she's going to get shuffled back right about here. She was on even terms with that horse that was in the blue silks with the number 5 heading into the far turn, but as they broke for the turn, you could see she got a little bit intimidated by racing in tight quarters down towards the inside, and she lost a good 3 lengths of position right there. But credit to her rider, Jose Lozcano, for not really panicking. He didn't slam on the brakes or anything. He just allowed this filly to kind of find her footing and position in behind horses. And now as they come to the top of the stretch here, you can see she's in this position in mid-pack, about 5th place, and he's going to, rather than wheel this horse to the outside, try to split horses in the stretch. And I think he's just doing a good job of giving this horse an education on debut. Coming around the far turn, he probably thought, I'm not going to win this race, and maybe underestimated how much horse he had left as she tries to come through between horses here, because she ends up getting pretty close to nearly winning the race, just kind of runs out of steam right at the end there as she settles for 3rd, rallying between horses. This was a Tony Dutrow first-time starter, and he's a trainer that doesn't always have his firsters cranked up to win on debut. Horses from his barn tend to do better in their second starts. This is also a filly who is by practical joke, who tends to get precocious runners, and I think that she was ready to win on debut. The trip just didn't quite work out for her, but I think we're going to see a much better effort from Fabulously Funny, and potentially a horse that could show more speed when she comes back for her second career start. So those are all the horses to watch for this week. If you want to follow these runners moving forward, you can add them to your horse watch under your account on DRF.com, and you'll get email notifications when these horses run back in the future. Thanks for tuning in this week, and make sure to catch future episodes of Horses to Watch on upcoming Wednesdays.